far as the news goes, you know, it's a little bit on the lighter side because, well, one, there's not much going on. We already talked about it. There's a Supreme Court hearing on student loan forgiveness. There's the lab leak and, you know, the lab leak theories have been reinstituted, which is such a weird concept because, like, ultimately the lab leak theory, as is everything else, is still a theory. So when the American Energy Department hits a new analysis button on it, it's still a theory. And yet Republicans and everyone goes, oh, dude, it was a bioweapon. Thank you for admitting that. And we've been saying this from the jump that the zoonotic spread theory and the lab leak theory are both just theories, and their analysis was made with low confidence, but that's enough for people to be like, nope, this is substantial, this is new information, this is literally the truth, this is what's going on here. We'll talk about it in a second. It's the same as it's the same with the masks. It's like, oh, masks don't work, we got it, we were right all along, brother. It's all this shit. It's like, lockdowns don't work, brother, we got it all along. It's like, first of all, you never did a lockdown. For the most part, scientists believe that it's zoonotic spread. That's the working theory, even though lab leak is another theory. But the consensus on the science side that isn't the Energy Department or isn't like the Department of Homeland Security or the State Department, they still believe it's probably zoonotic, which is understandable. I think that's usually how this goes. And it takes a long ass time. It takes a long ass time to actually find the truth about these sort of things anyway. This is a pretty good Hasan Minhaj video about it. Yeah, I thought I linked it in here, but I guess not. By the way, I think Hasan is probably going to become the Daily Show host now, which is great. Good for him. Fuck you. I mean, you piece of shit, but I like you a lot. You're a very nice guy, but also you're a piece of shit regardless, living my dreams. Well, my old dreams. I don't even want the Daily Show anymore, but like yourself, but also sick. You know, I'm simultaneously Team Hasan, but also fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, fuck. He will never invite me on the show. He knows who I am. We've had conversations in person before. I tried to get him on the stream before. He's like not interested, I don't think.
Now, we got so much to talk about, so let's get right to one of the greatest debates of our time. No, I'm not talking about how much cocaine a bear can do. I'm talking about the COVID origin debate, which is heating up this week. Now, to everybody touchdown dancing about this, how long have you been rocking with the Department of Energy? Oh, you've been with them since day one? Hey, what's your second favorite report from the Department of Energy? Now, personally, I love their report on walk-in freezers and coolers, but hey, that's just me, because I'm a real one. The Energy Department is one of 9 intelligence groups that have assessed COVID's origins. 2 have said lab leak, 5 say it came out of natural causes, and 2 say they don't know. And you know what?
That was a Northern Lion joke? No, that is a me joke. I've made that joke about trans swimmers. Like literally, oh, you care about trans swim meets? Who's the second person? Who won second place? You don't even know who the cis woman is that like lost to the trans woman.
Personally side with them.
But again, it's like, look, I'm not seething because like, who cares? It's like a basic shit. Let's get back to the story itself. So the Energy Department analysis concluded with low confidence that the coronavirus pandemic probably began with an accidental lab leak in central China. This is not the first department that the government owns. It's not the first government agency that has came out with a report that's similar. So unfunny, to be honest. No, like there's funny parts and then there's not so funny parts. Jealous from the real funny Hasan? Yes. I'm jealous. No, I love Hasan Minhaj, so I don't mind it. There would have definitely been a time when I would have been seething with jealousy. Even though he is a very nice guy, it would be, you know, I would admit it though, it comes from insecurity, but now is not one of those, it's no longer that time at all. They say it's probably an accidental lab leak in China. Republicans at Capitol Hill are teeing up new demands for information and broadening their planned probes of COVID-19's origins. For the most part, this is just about, I mean, you know what it's about. It's people desperately looking for an I told you so moment. And because it corresponds to like anti-Chinese sentiment, the American government will do it. Like they'll give you that I told you so moment, even if it's like incredibly reactionary. And even if it's technically self-defeating for the interests of the government, whether it be controlling pandemics, or, you know, whether it be establishing truth and maintaining confidence within the government. What I'm saying is they'll cuck themselves in an effort to say that like China is responsible for this. I've also also never seen what the energy department, like, I don't know why the energy department is talking about this, because it's weird. It's weird for the energy department to cover this. Like, why are you in the energy department covering this? Like, I don't understand. What the fuck does this have to do with energy? Anyway, but that's different. Let's continue. The classified report remains a minority view among those, the 9 intelligence agencies probing the pandemic's origin. Most of which still favor the theory that the virus naturally spilled over from animals to humans, the zoonotic spread. I mean, I don't give a fuck about like the intelligence entities, by the way. I do care about like the scientific community's pandemic epidemiologists and like the scientific community's analysis on it. And that has continued to favor the zoonotic spread theory, which is precisely why I will maintain the position that it's this is a theory, just like the zoonotic spread is a theory, and the more likely theory is the one I assume is the one held by the majority of scientists that know this process, and not like a random department. The U.S. Department of Energy National Virtual Biotechnology Laboratory is a consortium of DOE national laboratories. I guess this is why. I guess that makes sense. Regardless, don't understand why they have a say in this process, but I guess they do. And good on them for coming out and revealing the truth. Coronavirus traces found in March 2019 sewage sample Spanish study shows. It confuses me that the start is put on late 2019 in China when there's published paper confirming it was in Spain in March 2019. It also confuses me that they tried this already. People often forget that the first government agency that said that this was probably a Chinese lab leak, or the first people that came out with it, were not like individuals. Like, they weren't like independent journalists. It wasn't like Jack Posobiec or some shit. It was the fucking State Department. Immediately after COVID happened, they were like, oh, that's a lab leak, dog. That's definitely a lab leak. And at the time, it certainly was going against like the understanding. It was certainly going against the scientific consensus on the matter. And it was a hypothesis regardless. It was a theory. It was like, just like the lab leak was a theory, the zoonotic spread was a theory as well, but it was the working theory. It was the one that most people were on board with. So I don't give a fuck what Eric Weinstein is saying. It's not like he came up with it. The State Department came up with it. And then they also extended it from lab leak to like, well, that means it's man-made. It's a bioweapon, blah, blah, blah. All this like crazy shit. So them unrolling this one more time and unveiling it one more time as like a low confidence theory from yet another agency is weird, because they've done this already. But, you know, it'll get the chuds chirping regardless.
Through EcoHealth Alliance at the Wuhan lab in China, the American people are finally saying, well, it's good that everyone is acknowledging what we knew all along, and it cannot be ignored any longer.
It wasn't only reactionaries. Intercept wrote this last May. Yes, I know. Ryan Grimm even talked about it. I'm talking about the original inception, though. The original inception of the lab leak theory came from the State Department. If I was China, would rather accept the lab leak theory and just claim it was from a vaccine research safe face. The zoo theory would just makes my country look bad in the eyes of the international community. It doesn't matter. Zoonotic spread happens all the fucking time. That's why there's a need for the World Health Organization and epidemiologists that work together. Because no matter what you say, no matter what you fucking push for, it literally doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, here, the DC's China war lobby dusting off their Iraq WMD tool to revive the lab leak theory. Going from lab leak most likely origin of COVID-19 pandemic, energy department now says. Michael Gordon wrote it. Michael Gordon got the plug for this story. Threats and responses. The Iraqis. U.S. says Hussein intensifies quest for A-bomb parts. There was a second component to this, which was gain-of-function research. The pandemic should make us question the value of gain-of-function research, which a lot of people have an opinion on and say they do not want gain-of-function research to be conducted. I myself am a caveman. My opinion on the matter is I'm a caveman, but unlike all of the other cavemen, or unlike most other cavemen, I at least know my limitations as a caveman. So I think to myself, let the scientists figure it out. I'm serious. Like, for me, the way I understand gain of function research is that it's like necessary to combat like really devastating mutated viruses down the fucking line. I feel like it's anti-science to be like, no, we should put a hold on scientific research that is going to be increasingly more important as bacteria get stronger and are harder to combat, as we have like antibiotic resistance as a consequence of factory farming, by the way, for the record. Shouts out to the vegans on that one. There's at least like some truth there on the vegan side. As antibiotic resistance grows, I feel like gain of functions research is going to be even more important. And yeah, it sounds scary to me. I've seen Resident Evil. I've seen all the zombie movies, right? What happens when fucking humans go too far, yada, yada, yada. It turns into a fucking bioweapon. But I feel like because of my own personal fears of this, I can't just like put an end to it. You know what I mean? Because I see the other side of it, and I see that people that are way, way smarter than me who think that it's like the right thing to do. I'm just going to go along with the people that know what the fuck they're talking about. Anyway, regardless of whether this was even a lab leak, I still probably wouldn't push for ending gain of function research. And then their labs are trash and is harmful. I don't think Chinese labs are trash. I think you're operating off of like xenophobic sentiment if you think Chinese labs that are like being funded by the international community that abide by like the same protocols are actually trash. Yeah, careful dog, you're close to China. No, I don't operate under the fucking idea that like Chinese labs are shit. Gain of function research, for those of you who don't know at this point, which is kind of funny. I don't know how the fuck you don't know what that is at this point, because it was like a big, major point of contention, and I covered it regularly. I mean, this is the broadest way to describe it, but in the most reductive terms, gain of function research is when you take viruses that are out and about in the natural world, okay, in the real world, and beef it up in a laboratory in order to research how viruses in the natural real world could possibly become more dangerous or possibly could jump to human beings, oftentimes through bats, because bats have like crazy metabolism. That's why you see bats a lot being like the primary responsible animal that basically takes it from one animal to another and then to human beings usually. Yeah, they have a crazy immune system. Yeah, it's called vector. So that's usually what they're studying. That's usually what they're testing, just so they have some kind of anticipation. I'm not saying all labs have a theory as to how it leaked was because the work occurred in the wrong type of lab. I am sure this isn't the only place. I'm not saying it's even labs in China. Some labs are unsafe all over the world and in our backyards. Yes. Sure. Gain of function research is not inherently bad. It's bad if you suddenly cut funding, as Trump did, and they suddenly have to cut corners. Gain of function is necessary. If anybody says otherwise, they're idiots. I mean, I feel like there's more. I mean, it's more contentious than that. I feel like even in the scientific community, there's still people that think that it's not good, that it's not smart. There is debate on it. My bioengineering professor actually held a large debate about this a few weeks ago. Many scientists agree that gain of function research can actually lead to an increase of amount of top of the hour ad breaks. It's really terrifying how far these viruses can go. Okay, you guys are literally taking advantage of the fact that I'm jet lagged all to hell and super tired, and also in the future now with these fucking segues. That's crazy. That's 2 in a row. How do you feel? Do you feel good? You're taking advantage of an old man.